Hey, so today we're going to get working on some natural remedies. I mentioned these in my exercise video or my exercise blog and also in my fall cleaning blog. We're going to make some body butter and we're also going to make some bath bombs, which I also like to use in the shower because I just don't want to make that many products. So you can toss them in your shower floor and let them dissolve, or you can put them in your bathtub. So we're going to do both. And we'll get started with the body butter in just a minute here. For natural remedies, I like to use eucalyptus and tea tree oil because they're very healing, and just the fragrance of them, like when you have a sinus infection or a cold or anything like that, they make you feel so much better. It's kind of like the smell of like Vicks, which is great, but it's filled with all kinds of petroleum and other stuff. So this is a great natural alternative. But if you were doing this as like a reward for sticking to your exercise routine, you might want to use like lavender, or I love clary sage and bergamot, things like that that are a little bit more soothing and relaxing, or even some citrus fragrances that are great for like giving you energy and that type of thing. So really you can be flexible about your essential oils, but for natural remedies, eucalyptus and tea tree are both awesome essential oils to use. They are great at just clearing you up and making you feel a lot better. What I have here is actually a homemade double boiler. So I just have a saucepan and it has some hot water in the bottom and then a stainless steel bowl. You don't have to have a double boiler. I don't, and I cook a lot. But if you don't, you just make one up by putting a metal bowl over a saucepan, and you want to make sure that that bowl is totally metal. You don't want a rubber bottom or anything like that. And then I'm going to just measure my ingredients into it, turn up the heat, and get everything melting together. So what I have here is, this is cocoa butter. It's actually a byproduct of making chocolate, so it's edible. So that's kind of cool, but it doesn't taste like chocolate, so you might not want to eat it. This is shea butter, and this is just basic coconut oil. And you want to put them into your bowl in equal amounts. So whatever amount you want to make, you'll split that into thirds, and that's how much you'll put in. So I'm going to make like a cup and a half, so I'm putting a half cup of each in. And this is really hard, as you can see. I actually took a meat tenderizer to this before I started this video to kind of break it up so that it would fit better into the measuring cup, because it was like solid as a rock. So that's not going to work. And then I just have a silicone spatula here that I'm using for the oil. And I keep a jar of coconut oil in my bathroom and also in my kitchen because I like to use it for removing makeup. And I've heard that it makes your eyelashes grow, and I think it works. So anyway, so I put it on my face sometimes in the evening, but not every day because I'm prone to breaking out. And I also use it to remove eye makeup. So it's great for that. You can use it in the winter. It's really nice to put just right on your skin if you're really dry. Sometimes I actually put coconut oil on my hands and put on some gloves so it can soak in. Your body will absorb it, so that's nice. And I know my daughter uses it in her hair. It's great to prevent split ends, especially if you use a lot of heat on your hair, because that's like very damaging. So you can put it right on your hair. If it when you touch it, it tends to melt at body temperature. So you can put it right on your hair and let it sit overnight or for the day or whatever time you have, and then wash it out. So you can actually see that this is already starting to melt. The water in my pan below is actually from my hot water tap. I like to start with that. A lot of people, if you have a kettle, you might want to start your water, just use your kettle water to start or whatever, so it doesn't take so long to heat up. So this whole process, though, is actually relatively quick. And it actually will be amazing when it's done. So the difference between body butter and lotion, which I have been really wondering about, because I hear people talk about body butter all the time, and I always wonder, you know, why they're using such a strange term for lotion, but they're actually not the same thing. So body butter actually takes longer to absorb into your skin. Sometimes it might make your skin feel a little greasy. That's normal. It won't get all over, you know, your clothes and stuff, unless of course you put too much on. But it creates a barrier, which is awesome in the winter, because one of the things that's really damaging to our skin is the dry air that we're exposed to. So this is actually really beneficial when you're running your heater inside, or when you get that cold, really dry winter air. It would also be great if you lived in a desert climate where it's just dry all the time, because it'll prevent chapping. So I think I'm actually going to make some of this as Christmas gifts as well, because, I mean, who does not love getting some pampering in the winter? So I have now added a half cup of each into my bowl. I'm working on getting that shea butter out. Wow, is that creamy. And then I'm going to just turn on the heat and stir it up as it melts in there. So that should be pretty easy. And don't worry, it's fine if the water underneath starts to boil. This is why you don't want this on direct heat. So it's not a big deal. There we go. I need something to hold on to this bowl. It's a little warm. The bowl's a little warm, warmer than I expected it to be. So what I can also add to this, if I want to make it a little thicker, is some beeswax. And I am going to add a little bit of magnesium oil to this, which I already went ahead and made. So there's all kinds of fancy recipes for magnesium oil online, but I just use Epsom salts, which are magnesium sulfate and water. You don't really need to use magnesium flakes. It's just a different way of having magnesium. The magnesium, you don't need to do that. You can use Dead Sea magnesium, or you can use just Epsom salts. You can use whatever you want. They are a great source of magnesium for your body. And a lot of people actually have a magnesium deficiency. And magnesium really helps with sleep and stress and anxiety. So it's usually used at night. If you take magnesium supplements, you definitely want to take them at night, because they might make you a little sleepy. It's transdermally absorbed as well. So that's part of why it's so beneficial to take a Epsom salt bath, is because your skin absorbs it and it relaxes your muscles and makes you feel just amazing. So I have an article on my blog about the benefits of baths, and one of the things I talk about actually is Epsom salt baths. I'm also going to make some fragrant Epsom salts, and all you have to do for that is just pour some Epsom salts into a jar or container, put your oil in there, and then just shake it up. So I like to use the eucalyptus and tea tree at this time of year. Make yourself a nice bath. You can throw some lavender in with them. That's actually a really nice combination. I usually, for a jar about this size, this is about probably a cup and a half to 2 cups, probably closer to 2 cups. I would use probably about 30 drops of essential oil. You can always add more. If you store your salts with your essential oils in a clear jar like this, you just need to know to keep it in a dark place, and it will not stay fragrant for as long. You'll lose your essential oils, but they won't usually turn rancid, so you don't have to worry about that. So I would just plan on using it within a week or so that you keep your essential oils nice and fresh. So that is that. Once this is all melted, I'm going to turn it off. I am going to I'm going to let it cool to room temperature, and then I'm going to put it in my freezer so that it gets nice and so it rehardens. It gets nice and thick a little bit again. I don't want it to be completely hard, but I want it to be thicker. And then I'm going to mix it. So you can mix it with a mixer, like just a regular hand mixer, or an immersion blender. So I'll probably use my immersion blender because I've got this little bowl here and I don't want it to spatter everywhere. And then I'm just going to transfer it to a jar. So it's like really, really easy. Do not put your essential oils in, by the way, until you're in the mixing phase, because the heat will absolutely cause issues. So I'm going to go ahead at this point and put a little magnesium oil in here. And magnesium oil is funny because it's really, all magnesium oil is, just so you know, is equal parts magnesium, so Epsom salt, and water, and you boil it until the salt is completely dissolved. So, and it doesn't take a lot to actually get that magnesium absorbed into your system. So I just used a half a cup of Epsom salts and a half a cup of distilled water, and I boiled it. I whisked it while I boiled it. I actually did it in the same pan. And then that was it. All right, so there we go. We have our melted oils, and I'm going to go ahead and take these off and set them aside. So let me just turn that off, and I will be right back with you. We're going to go ahead and start our bath bombs in a minute. All right, thanks. Bye.